Hey y'all, I'm watching Jake Laravia, and if you watch this channel, you know I had a problem with him earlier. But I'm wondering why we aren't playing Adeu Thiero. If Jake Laravia has settled into the player he is going to be with the Los Angeles Lakers, and while he played fantastic earlier in the season, had some great games, great numbers, he's regressing back to who he is as a player. And if this is who he is as a player, why are we not playing Adeu Thiero? Now, I know how many of you think. Many of you think, well, we won last night. What are you complaining about? We're number 2 in the West. What are you complaining about? Why does it always have to be something wrong? Well, let me ask you this. Is your goal to be number 2 in the West? Do you think that this team right now is currently constructed could win a championship? Now, even if you think they could, right? I asked you, could they win a championship? So if you think they could, right, you're still off a little bit. I know they could. I'm not saying they will, but I know they could, right? So this is what I want to establish. If your goal is to have the Lakers be the number 2 seed in the West, or to win last night against Dallas, you be over here. My goal is for the Lakers to win the title. I will be over here. Do you see what I'm saying? And Jake Laravia is a better pickup than I thought he was going to be. But the dude is still not what we needed. He is not what we needed. It reminds me of that summer that we signed Luol Deng and Timothy Mozgov. It is just not what the Lakers needed. And so you have to look at him a little bit more critically. He was our main free agent signing this year. I'm not talking about Marcus Smart. I'm not talking about DeAndre Ayton. Those guys were bought out. Jake Laravia was our number 1 first free agent signing this year. He deserves to be looked at with a little bit more critical eye. But bit more than that, and this is not a shit on Jake Laravia post. More than that, what is your goal for these Los Angeles Lakers? Because if your goal is for us to be number 2 in the West, you stay the fuck over here. If your goal is to win the championship, come over here with me. Okay? And so I'm not going by what our standings are. I don't care if we were number 1 in the West. I would stand on that. Your goal is not to be the number 1 seed in the West. You got this team, and the team is doing what it's doing right now. Your goal should be to win a championship. And if Rob Pelinka ain't on that, is not thinking along those wavelengths, he needs to go too. If there is a move that could be made that gets us closer to that goal, which is to be the champion, then you need to make it. Now, if you're not willing to make it because you're content with us being number 1 in the West, then stay the fuck over there. And that's what that is the biggest mentality difference that I see when it comes to this Jake Laravia thing. It's like, look, just look at it reasonably. If Jake Laravia is doing what Jake Laravia does, and Jake Laravia is who Jake Laravia is going to be going forward, you have to try Adeu Thiero. I'm not saying you have to do it last night, but at some point in time in this season, we should know whether Adeu Thiero gives us more than Jake Laravia gives us. We got to know the answer to that question. By the end of the year, if you are legitimately serious about winning a championship, you have to know the answer to that question. Now, personally, do I want to see Adeu Thiero play more than Jake Laravia? Yes, I do. I'm super curious about this kid. And I want to see what he could do. And I want to see what he could do next to great players like Luka and LeBron, especially given what his skill set is. I want to see what he could do. So yes, personally, I want to see Adeu Thiero on the court. But just as a fan of the Lakers, as a fan of basketball, right? I also want to see if he is better than Jake Laravia. If he has the ability to raise our ceiling just any more than it is with Jake Laravia, then I want that motherfucker playing. I don't want him playing. And, you know, a lot of people may say, well, you know, if we would have played him last night, we'd have lost. I don't know that we'd have lost. I mean, Jake Laravia didn't give much last night against Dallas. He had, he was 0% field goal percentage, 0% 3-point percentage. He had 2 rebounds, a personal foul, and a turnover, and no points. The game before that, he had 4 points. Before that, he had 5 points. Before that, he had 16 points. And before that, he had 4 points. You tell me we shouldn't be playing Adeu Thiero. It wouldn't hurt. And it could, I don't know that it wouldn't hurt. I suspect it wouldn't hurt. And it probably would help us significantly if we found out that this dude could be a serious contributor on this team. And, you know, that is if I have a beef with JJ Redick, it's along those lines. He often does not, it often doesn't seem like he does everything he could do to make the Lakers as good as they could be. It often seems like other things interrupt what he should be doing. And it's stuff off the court. It's off the court basketball stuff. For example, these are 2 things that I know have touched his ability to play young players. One is the salary of a guy who's on the bench. If the Lakers pick up a quote-unquote prime free agent target, meaning it's their first free agent target or signing of the offseason, and they give that player money, a little bit, $10 million or something, that guy's going to have priority over a guy who could be better. And the other thing is whether you're a veteran or not, how many years you got under your belt. That often influences how JJ Redick plays guys. It just does. I've seen it. I've watched it. It's like, if this guy is playing so fucking good, then why are you trying to find a reason to put him on the bench? And I saw that firsthand with Dalton Connect last year. I mean, Dalton Connect has turned into, kind of like a punching bag now. But last year when he was kicking ass, when Austin came back and when Gabe Vincent came back, you started to see people try to find reasons to talk down on Dalton Connect's game. Everything was a problem. Everything had to be pointed out. He was the only player on the Lakers I saw people be so critical about. And I know that with Adeu Thiero, it's very much of a similar dynamic going on. Adeu Thiero might be better than Jake Laravia right now. I don't think JJ Redick sees it in his best interest to figure that out. That's the problem. It shouldn't be in JJ Redick's best interest. Whose best interest should it be in? It should be in the Lakers' best interest. But he's not on that, man. And the dude often is not on that. For example, when last year in the playoffs, in Game 5 against Minnesota, first round, and he benched, what's his name, man? He benched our center, Jackson Hayes. He benched Jackson Hayes. Man, Jackson Hayes was the easiest target in the starting 5. And he benched him. Why would you bench the easiest target in the starting 5? Right? Why would you effectively say that your bench ain't shit and play Maxi Kleber? It was just, it was the easier thing to do. Look, if I do this, it looks like I coached and I went out with no bullets in the chamber, right? And that's what he was going for. He was going for the story after the story, right? He was going for the Hollywood ending. Well, he went out with guns a-blazing and he pulled everything he could and blah, blah, blah. Man, shut the fuck up. He made that about him. That's what he did. He made last year's playoffs, Game 5, especially the second half, he made it about JJ Redick. Don't make it about, if you don't make this about JJ Redick, Adeu Thiero is playing until we figure out who is better and who contributes more to this team. Because Jake Laravia is not giving enough for anyone to determine that he needs to play. He's just not. I just told you what he did. 4 points, no points, 6 points, 14 points. I bet you Adeu Thiero gets that on putbacks and running the wing on fast breaks. I'm just saying, why is he not playing? You know, and I get it. I know the dynamic. I know the rookie young player dynamic. I get it. But there is no good reason why he shouldn't be playing when Jake Laravia is giving what he's giving to this team. Furthermore, if your goal is to win a title, you better fucking know better whether Adeu Thiero or Jake Laravia is better or not. You better know by the end of the season. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Because that's your job. Alright, y'all. This is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe. I'll hit you again.